Welcome, friends, to the June 2022 prophetic forecast. Thank you for joining. I want to dive right in and share a handful of things that I feel like God is showing me. But I do want to start at one place before I dive into that and share just a really quick testimony. Last month, I shared a little bit about why I started doing these videos. I've been walking with the Lord for 13 years and growing in the prophetic for well over 10 years now and training, equipping these different things. But I've shied away from doing this for a while. But God gave me more than one prophetic word all in a week and confirmed it very powerfully and said I should start doing these. So out of obedience, I started doing them. Okay. One of the words that I gave last month was about the young leaders of California rising up and being passed the reins of leadership. And I felt like a confirmation that that would be coming about is that the Warriors and the Heat would be in the finals and the Warriors would win in 6 or 7 games. Okay. We know right now it's June 15th when I'm recording this in the morning, Eastern time. We know right now it is not the Warriors and the Heat. It's the Warriors and the Celtics, and the Warriors are up 3-2. Okay. I do still feel like that the main point of the word is accurate, that the Warriors will win, and it will be a signifying of young leaders in the state of California rising up, being past the reins of leadership in many regards, and taking what their mothers and fathers did to an entirely new level. I do still feel like that that's accurate, even though I missed some of the detail. Okay. But I also want to take complete ownership, because if I miss something, I'm not deleting the video or glossing over it and not mentioning it or saying, well, we just didn't pray or whatever excuse. Okay. I'm not going to make any excuses. I missed some of the detail. I do still feel like the word's accurate. We will see, but I did miss some of that detail. Okay. As we're growing in our prophetic journey, myself still growing on this journey, I've been privileged to operate at a pretty high level word of knowledge, prophetic gift. But I mean, there's people who are operating at a much, much, much higher level. And I'll get to that in just a second, but we don't get it right every single time. Okay. Now, if we're really following God, if we're close to Jesus, if our heart's in the right place as to why we're pursuing this, the Bible mandates us to pursue this. 1 Corinthians 14:1 says, pursue love, earnestly desire the gifts of the Spirit, but especially that you prophesy. We're mandated to grow in this. These are gifts, they're free, but it's our responsibility to steward it and grow in it and learn in it. Okay. They're also tools that help us bring people into powerful encounters, reveal what is to come so we can be praying and positioning ourselves, and many other reasons. If we want to get into the why and the how behind prophecy, God's heart behind it, I would encourage you just to dive headfirst into Graham Cook's stuff. Amazing. I don't think anyone covers it better that's on the planet right now. The why behind prophecy and God's heart behind it. Okay. Let me read this verse real quick. Okay. This is 1 Corinthians 13:9 from the New Living Translation. It says, now our knowledge is partial and incomplete, and even the gift of prophecy reveals only part of the whole picture. Okay. If we're, like I said, if we're really pursuing this the right way and we're growing with God, we should be right most of the time. Okay. Saying that we only see part of the picture is not an excuse to just prophesy all the time, say whatever we want. If we're wrong, well, I can only see part of the picture. No, that's not the point being made here, or what the Bible says, or that's not the heart behind this at all. Okay. We want to have grace and understand that as we're growing, we're not going to get every single thing right. But if we're really pursuing this, we should be getting way more right than we're getting wrong. Okay. And if we get it wrong, we take ownership. We just take ownership and say, yeah, I missed some of the detail on that. I'm still growing in this. I'm not going to pretend it didn't happen or not talk about it. I'm going to take ownership, and we're going to move on and keep growing with God. I want to share a real quick testimony about how sometimes we just see part of the picture. But if our heart's in the right place, God just uses it in such a powerful way. Other times, man, it's like, dude, there's people operating at such a high level of word of knowledge and prophetic ministry that people can't believe it. Literally, you got unbelieving believers who see someone like Sean Bowles. I encourage you to check out some of his word of knowledge videos. It's wild. That man called me out in a meeting by my first and last name, told me everything going on in my life, laid hands on me, put a a 10-year window on part of the prophetic word, and it has happened. And just crazy. Okay. But there's some people who can't believe it, and they hop on and do videos trying to disprove it, say, oh, he's looking up information on the internet. And then he's, going to the meeting, and he shared stuff with me that's not on the internet. Okay. All that being said, again, we should be right more than we're wrong if we're really following Jesus and really growing in this. But sometimes we miss it. If we do, we take ownership, there's grace, and we continue pursuing God's heart and using this gift to bring heaven to earth. Just recently, we were at a thing with all of our kids and a bunch of parents, and it was at a play place where there's slides and the little ball pits where they jump in, the bouncy house and all that. Bunch of kids, bunch of parents. It was fun. And there was a lady up front working at the desk, older lady, and God just started speaking to me about her. I've seen these pictures in my mind of her around a bunch of kids. Now, clearly, she's around a bunch of kids there at her work, but I wasn't seeing her at work. I felt like it wasn't at work. So I just started asking God. I'm like, God, what's that about? Like, what does she do? What do you want me to encourage her with? Why are you showing me this? Asking all the questions. And I got enough of what I felt like was the picture. And so I just went up and I said, hey, man, this might sound strange, but I love God. He loves people. He loves you. And I felt like he was showing me something to encourage you with. Would it be all right if I encouraged you with what I feel like God's telling me about you? And she was like, kind of taken back, but on board with it enough. So I began to just tell her, I just see this picture like of you outside of work around all these kids. Like, I don't know if it's nieces or nephews, but I just see you around all these kids all the time. And I just feel like God really wants to encourage you that what you're doing in these kids' lives is transforming. It's way bigger than you think. You're doing it because you love kids, because you have the time, because you feel obligated, all these reasons. But God wants you to know it's so much bigger. You're sowing into their destiny. You are teaching them amazing things. You are around them, helping them grow up in a safe environment. And I just elaborated about some stuff like that. And she said, she gave me some feedback. She said, it's kind of crazy because I'm a godmother, and my nieces and nephews are around all the time. And the neighborhood, people in the neighborhood come and drop their kids off, and people on the property. Apparently she lives on a property where there's multiple houses and a bunch of kids. And she just is around all these kids all the time. And she's with them every single day. It's not like a daycare or a homeschool. She just is there with them every single day. She's like, I take them to school or church every single Sunday. She's like, but I've never encountered God. I've never encountered God like this at church, or this is new. So I just began to tell her a little bit about, how I heard that and my story a tiny bit. And then I asked her if she had anything physically going on. She had a broken toe, prayed for her twice, God healed her toe. And then she just started laughing. She didn't really even have a response. But at one point she was shocked, couldn't even talk, just didn't have a response. And then after I prayed for her and she got healed, she started laughing. And it's not a wild healing testimony, okay? But God cares enough to heal someone's broken toe, and he knows everything going on in our life. See, I shared that testimony of just one thing that happened recently, because it's like sometimes we just see the picture and we're like, all right, God, what are you saying? What are you doing here? Let's lean into it, and I'm going to drop off the mail, and let's find you in the midst of this and encourage somebody. But in the midst of that, it's like, man, I see a picture and I'm trying to understand it. And I go up to somebody, drop off the mail, and this person, I didn't even tell her my name. She's not going to remember me, but she will remember that God knows her. God sees that detail. God is thankful for what she's doing, encouraging her, is with her, telling her how powerful it is. She is going to remember all of that. The gifts of the Spirit, I'm specifically talking about word of knowledge and prophetic ministry, are insanely powerful. Wildly powerful, that in just a heartbeat you can bring someone into that kind of encounter with God and bring them that much closer to God. It just bypasses unbelief and cuts straight to the heart. It's powerful. Okay. And as we're growing, we just remain humble. Yeah, there's time, like, man, it's wild. Sometimes God just will tell me their name, or I'll get a date and it's like, oh my gosh, that's my birthday, or it's my anniversary. Or other times you get kind of a part of a picture and you lean into it and more comes. Other times you step out and the information is wrong, but you just take ownership and tell them why. Okay. I'm always going to do that on this channel. If I miss it, I'm going to take ownership. The stuff that's right, it's just God anyways. Okay. Let's dive into some of the stuff I felt like God was showing me. part of my journey, I've just loved worship, and one of the worship bands that I've loved for a long time, ever since the beginning. United Pursuit Band, amazing. Just love their worship. Live at the Banks House, whatever it was, 11, 12 years ago, like rocked my world. I worshiped that for like a whole season. Amazing. Still, I bring it up because we still listen to them at the house. Still love worshiping with United Pursuit. And recently at the house, we had the worship on from United Pursuit. This picture popped up. You can see it here. And as soon as I saw it, I was reminded of the movie The Newsies, which is a Disney movie. It's a true story. The detail of it is not all accurate, like the names and all the specific details, but the story did happen. That did happen. Okay. And, as you saw, the album cover, United Pursuit, that's what it looks like. It looks like these orphans handing out the news back in the late 1800s is when it happened. The story goes as such. I won't go into all the detail, but most of them were orphans on the street, and they made their money by selling newspapers. These companies would come, drop off these stacks of newspapers. They would come pick them up. They would go sell them, bring back the money, and that's how these orphans made money. You see that picture with the United Pursuit Band? That's a bunch of orphans. I don't know if they're all orphans, but a lot of them were. But those are, kids on the street dressed in really nice suits. It's because they're making money selling these newspapers. They ended up going on strike though, because they weren't getting fair pay. There was more to it and everything, but they ended up going on strike, and they actually ended up kind of winning, and the pay got changed and everything. Okay. All that being said, when I saw this picture from the album cover from United Pursuit, I was reminded of the movie The Newsies, and then God started speaking to me and showing me all this stuff. I just got kind of wrapped up in this quick vision, and I felt like, what God was saying was this. I just want to read this. Okay. The children of God are going to go on strike from watching the poison of the news. They're going to go from being filled with negative news to being filled with good news, and out of that become powerful carriers of the good news of Jesus. I stopped watching the news a long time ago. Yes, I see headlines. I'll watch a video or something, but I haven't watched a news segment or anything on a 24-hour news network. And it's been over 11 years. It was lies then, it's lies now. Okay. I don't want to get into all that, but I say that because I also feel like this is going to come about. More and more news outlets that are reporting lies are going to fall to the wayside, and more organic news outlets that are reporting the truth are going to rise up. I do feel like we'll even see traces of it in a CNN or a Fox News and MSNBC. I don't think any of them tell the truth, to be honest, but I do feel we'll see them come out and you'll actually hear traces of real truth, but I don't think that they're going to get on board with it. But those big, even mainstream ones that keep pumping the lies, God is going to push them to the wayside, and you are going to see more and more news outlets reporting the truth rising up in all sorts of organic ways. Okay. Most importantly, in all of that, I just feel like that God is saying we're going to see more and more people stop believing the news. I know people that watch it, they know it's lies, and they still watch it all the time. What are you doing? But more and more people stop watching that. And instead, that space that was being filled with lies in them, or confusion, whatever, that void is going to be filled with the good news. And out of that place, just like in the picture, was it's most of the kids that sold newspapers in the late 1800s were orphans. Not all, but most. Okay. These people who were orphans, spiritually speaking, the Bible talks about it. They would cry out, Abba, Father, become sons and daughters of God. Stop dialing in to the news of the world, dial into the good news of Jesus, and carry that in their life. And more organic news outlets rising to the surface that are telling the truth. Okay. There's a few more here. I want to dive into this though. So regarding cryptocurrency, which right now for, if you're someone that pays attention to the markets or invested in anything, the markets are bleeding. It's bloody, all red. Everything's red. Every market's red. Bad. I won't get into all of that right now, but I will just say this. About 2.5 years ago, God started speaking to me about XRP, Ripple XRP. I'll get into exactly what that is in just a second, okay? But about 2.5 years ago, God started speaking to me about this. All right, he hasn't stopped speaking to me about it. This specific cryptocurrency has not done. It hasn't even set a new all-time high since I started investing in it. But God has been relentless and speaking to me about it. And you can hop on YouTube here and you can hop on and see a whole bunch of people have had dreams, given prophetic words. God has spoken to them about XRP. Okay. This is what XRP is. Okay. So I'll share this part real quick, give you a little bit of a definition, and then I want to share my dream. Okay. But Ripple is the company that is behind XRP, the cryptocurrency. Okay. Bitcoin transactions, even Ethereum or other networks like Bitcoin transactions, their confirmations may take minutes with high transaction costs, while XRP transactions are confirmed in seconds with little cost. XRP is a technology that's mainly known for its digital payment network and protocol. Ripple is the company, XRP is the technology. Okay. In my opinion, and truthfully, I don't even think it's opinion, this cryptocurrency has the most powerful practical usage out of any of them. You'll get some other ones that are close, XLM and Algo, HBAR. There's some other ones there that have really powerful, practical, real world use cases. This one, I don't know how someone could argue, like, you can move billions of dollars in seconds for fractions of a penny. Like, it costs nothing to move massive amounts of money like that. Now, before I tell my dream real quick, I got to say this. I'm not a financial advisor. Okay. You are, if from what I'm saying, you feel compelled to invest in XRP, you are 100% responsible for your own investments. Do your own research. You're responsible. Okay. Not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. I'm telling you what God's been speaking to me, and my money's where my mouth is. I have plenty of XRP, have for a while. I've been in the crypto market for a while. It's been very good to us. Okay. It's not doing good right now, but it has been good to us. All right. That being said, this is the dream. In the dream, I was watching TV, and I don't watch TV. We don't even have cable. But I was watching TV, and Ripple and XRP were everywhere. I woke up the next morning and shared all the detail of the dream to my buddy, and he said, well, was it Ripple or was it XRP? Which one? And I thought back through it, and they were like interchangeable. Okay. But in the dream I'm watching, it's like sporting events. You know how they advertising spots, like on the court, you'll see people pay for those spots, or on the basket stand, the standard there that holds up the basket. It's not what it's called, but you'll see even like advertising there all around the stadium. Ripple XRP was in there. It was on commercials. It was mainstream media. It was everywhere. Ripple and XRP were everywhere. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, was everywhere. It was a household name. It was a household name. Ripple and XRP. Okay. You're responsible for your own decisions. Okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to give financial advice, but my money's where my mouth is. God's been speaking to me for a long time about it. And I just feel like that I'll say this too. I've talked to many people who have said, God gave me a dream about XRP. God has spoken to me about XRP. You can hop on here and check tons of prophetic words that people have put on YouTube and dreams people have had about XRP. It hasn't done what God has shown me, or shown many people. It hasn't done that yet, but I believe it is going to. And I believe that there's a position right now. There's a place right now for people who follow God, people who can see its use case and the problems it can solve, to invest in it, and it be radical, life-changing wealth. Okay. If by any reason you're like, I'm interested in that, whatever, I would recommend looking up what dollar cost average is. You're like, well, I don't have a bunch of money to put in it. put $20 a month in it. Okay. I'm not telling you what to do if you feel compelled. Dollar cost average, just put a little at a time and build up. Okay. But God has spoken to me relentlessly about this. I did have that dream. It was everywhere. And I do feel like that it is going to be an absolutely life-changing investment. Okay. Moving on. I want to share a couple more things here. This is a quick one. But I feel like there's going to be such a movement of clean comedians. Okay. Some of them believers, some of them not. But I just feel like there's going to be such a movement of clean comedy where they don't want to be vulgar. They're not cussing, but they are hilarious. Nobody can deny how funny they are. Okay. Whatever side somebody's on, left, right, whatever their opinions are on things, nobody will be able to deny, man, these people are hilarious. God is on them. God is giving them the wisdom on how to do it. And I feel like we're going to see like even TV channels come out of this, and websites and whatnot, that it's like, it's devoted to this, and clean comedians getting such a place in entertainment and Hollywood. And just because they're legitimate, no one can deny, like, man, these people, girls and guys, are really funny. And God's going to use it powerfully, because humor has a way of cutting through a lot of stuff. While people are laughing, you can hit them upside the head with some truth. And sometimes they don't even realize it. They got to process it after. But laughter and humor can be used powerfully. And I feel like in this next season, we're going to, coming years, we're going to see a lot of clean comedians rise up that God is with, and he's using their comedy, and he's going to use it powerfully to shift some things in culture. So I just keep an eye out for it, be praying for it as well. One of the other things God was speaking to me about is aliens. Yes, you heard me correct. Let me elaborate. There's been a lot of talk about UFOs and aliens in the last it's been ongoing, people have been talking about it forever, but there's been a lot of talk about it in the last couple of years. I know that there was also a congressional hearing. I believe, I don't know the detail of it. I don't know what the detail of what they were talking about. I don't know, but I heard something about it. And I think it was in the last month or something, there was a congressional hearing. I know as well, again, I don't go down this rabbit trail. Okay. But I know in the last couple of years, the military released videos and about, aliens and evidence and all these different things have been coming out recently. God's been speaking to me recently about it. And I just feel like I'm really supposed to say, like, just don't buy into it. It's a waste of time. It's a hoax. It's not, like, it's to get people to look over here. All right. While the government continues to run their charades and shenanigans to take more power and more of our freedom away. Okay. And I feel like one of the confirmations to this is going to be this. I didn't get a time frame on it as to when, so I don't even want to try and just throw that out there. But I do feel like we will see sooner than later. Confirmation to this is going to be that somewhere in South America, there's going to be some sort of archaeological find, some sort of evidence, some lost civilization, whatever the detail of that looks like. But they're going to say, like, we have evidence of extraterrestrials, we have evidence of a alien, or however they want to say it. Okay. I saw South America. I feel like it's going to be the Amazon, but I saw South America specifically. And I feel like that it's going to be a hoax. It's not going to be true. Don't buy into it. And the reason that they're doing it, they're going to use it to get more control over the masses. They are also there's going to be some sort of green energy thing attached to it. And they're also, part of their agenda and end game is to get more access to the Amazon, so that they can actually cut down more trees and extract more of the pharmaceutical properties that exist in the Amazon. God started speaking to me about that. And my wife is Brazilian. She says they've been trying to do that for years. they've been trying to get land in the Amazon because apparently I looked it up a little bit, like 25% of the plants in the Amazon can have pharmaceutical properties in them. They're used for medicine and whatnot. So again, I just feel like God's saying, don't buy into it. Don't go down the rabbit trail. Okay. We'll stay locked into Jesus. And confirmation that is going to be, there's going to be some sort of archaeological find, they're stumble on whatever it is. They're going to stumble onto something and say, this is evidence here. It's not true. It's not true. They're using it to get more control over the masses. They're going to use it. There's going to be some green energy thing attached to it. And part of the end game behind their agenda is they want more access to the Amazon to extract more for the pharmaceutical companies to have more access to make more medicine. Okay. So just be praying. It's just a time to stay locked into Jesus. Okay. And be praying. All right. I want to share this last one here and then just share a little something just about prayer and the importance, I think, of prayer in this season right now. I don't know if this necessarily takes a huge prophetic insight, to be honest, but we're going to see a huge push for AI in coming years, artificial intelligence. And I personally don't think it's all bad. Okay. Just like people, like the internet came out and it's going to be all bad. It's like the internet's amazing. A lot of technology is amazing. It's used for very good reasons. But it can also be used for bad. And we've seen plenty of that. Okay. I think AI is going to be real similar to the internet in that regard, in the sense that we're going to see a huge push for it. All right. And it will be used for some bad. Okay. One of the things that I saw is that I feel like some technology is going to be coming out sooner and later about holograms and us being able to communicate through holograms. Maybe this already exists. I'm sure it does, to be honest. I mean, I know it does because we've seen at concerts musicians who have passed away and their hologram is up on stage and singing their old songs. So we've seen some of the technology already exists, but what I saw was like in households. It's starting with a device. I think eventually it'll come into phones, computers, and be very accessible. But holograms, like you put the device here, stand in front of it, talk, and it projects your hologram in somebody else's kitchen or wherever on the other side of the world. And you're standing there in a holographic image right in front of them having a conversation. Okay. I mean, that sounds pretty cool to me. I don't know about you, but of course that can be used for bad. Okay. I just feel like that God wants us to be praying against it starting now. You know, sometimes we see these prophetic stuff coming in the future. God shows us because he wants us to start praying right now because we can do something about it. We can pray against some of the stuff the enemy's trying to do, expose it, block it, pray against it. So I want to encourage you, like, AI is coming. Way more of it is coming in years to come. And I think it would benefit us most right now to be praying for discernment on how to use it. Okay. Maybe there's even some wisdom on what to invest in right now because it's coming. It's coming. But also be praying against how the enemy is planning to use it for bad, disrupt it. Just a bunch of things are coming to mind to pray against it, that criminals wouldn't be able to access it the way they wanted to, be shielded from kids, so many different things. Okay. But God was showing me that as well. So all that being said, I want to end with this too. First of all, if any of this stuff, God's been speaking to you about it, or you're encouraged by it, or you want to be praying into it, please just drop a comment. Let us know. If anything we're praying about, of God's spoken to you about too, drop a comment too. So it just encourages us as well. And like and subscribe. You guys know it's the algorithm. It just helps us get the message out more. Okay. It's very helpful for us. I'll say this though too. It's of the utmost importance that we're praying right now. It's part of the reason why I feel like that God's finally like, I want you to start doing this and doing it consistently, because in the Bible, I believe it's John 16. I'm actually going to look it up really, really fast here. Bear with me. I'm almost positive that it is John 16. Holy Spirit shows us of things to come. Tells us of things to come. It is John 16. It's John 16:13. But when he, the Spirit of truth, comes. He will guide you into all truth. He will not speak on his own. He will speak about what he hears, and he will tell you what is yet to come. Okay. Part of the reason that he does that, to position ourselves, to have a heads up, to know what's coming. It's a lot of, but I feel like one of the more important reasons is that we can be praying, whether it's something, whether it's something good that God is doing. It's always good what he's doing, but sometimes he's blocking the enemy or whatever, but which is good. But or whether he's warning us of something the enemy is trying to do, so we can be praying against it. Either way, if he's showing us something that's coming, we should be praying into it. Praying, how do I best partner with you, God? Show me your heart in this, God. Show other people this, God. Have your way, Lord. What can I do to position myself to be part of it? So on and so forth. So just encourage you, like even these words you're hearing, stuff God is showing you, stuff going on in the earth. Our prayers have more power than we think. And I really want to encourage you to be praying in this season for what's to come, for what's going on, because our prayers have way more power than we realize. So again, thank you guys. Drop a comment, like, subscribe. Again, I know I'm being redundant, but it really helps us get the message out. And I appreciate you guys joining. Again, we'll talk to you next month.